Chatsky. I'm wearing a hood because if y'all can't tell, forehead big as hell, man. I done cut my hair and shit, gang. I'm not showing y'all my shit, bro.
Ain't shit to it but to do it, little dog. You feel me?
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, Zersky.
Fuck is you talking about? I'm not doing it, gang. I done cut my shit, gang. So, from now on, I'm going to be doing faces, boy. My forehead just so damn big, nigga. I could play it off, huh? Yeah, you wouldn't even think second. Wow, you wouldn't even think second guess, boy. Stop playing. I could do that, gang. I could do that. Y'all know, it's 5 in the morning. It's 4 in the morning, gang. So, y'all know me. I do a lot of content on here, bro. I do vlogs, which I still got my Bahamas vlog to upload. You feel me? Way past due. Excuse me. I still got my Bahamas vlog to upload. A couple of them actually to upload. It's probably like anywhere between 2 and 3 parts. You know what I'm saying? Cool as shit though. You know what I'm saying? Great content. You know, I do reactions, of course. You know, if y'all actually know, I got a gaming channel. You know what I'm saying? I can actually put it right here. You feel me? Bro, you know what I'm saying? At the situation, me and my boy, it's a half and half, but right now it's all just me on there with the content. He got a couple clips on there, but all other 100-some clips and everything that you seeing is all me for the moment. But once we get him back situated in the next few months and some, he'll be back on. He'll be on there uploading clips. It'll be me and my boy. Then we'll be open accepting gaming clips from other people and recruiting people to the community. But right now it's just me and my motherfucking CFO or I'm the CEO. Yeah, so he's the CFO. I'm the CEO and that's my CFO. So anyways, gang, the whole point of my little rant is I react to a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's trending. I don't care if it's street news, rap news, drill music news, motherfucking political news, anything. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just some shit we watching 1v1s, knockouts, anything. I like watching whatever I feel like. So one person that I grew up watching a lot, you know what I'm saying? Not grew up, my fault, I'm grown as hell. But since I was the last 5, I want to say like 5 years, 6 years, bro. Since Mikey was 14. I've been watching Mikey Williams, bro. Mikey 19 now. Yeah, so like the last 5 for sure years, 5, 6 years. I've been watching this man. I've been watching him for sure since I was like 21. So like 5, 6 years. So now everyone be saying like he was overhyped in high school. He couldn't live up to his hype. He's never played no real competition, this, that, and the third. Anytime I see something about them talking about Mikey, I always try to watch it, especially if the video is like a decent watch, like, you know, 16 minutes is a decent watch. But I be wanting to see what they saying, because I'll never count him out, bro. Even if he don't make it to the league, I'm not counting Mikey out for nothing. Y'all did that to that boy. And now y'all want to say that that he was a hype in high school, and this all that hype fucked up his this, that, and the third. But it's like, y'all shouldn't have did that at a young age and made a 14-year-old boy feel like he had so much to live up to at a young age where he wanted a first NIL deal receivers game.
What's one thing you
Remember when Mikey Williams felt like the future of basketball? When he was just a kid, his highlights were unavoidable. He was throwing down windmill dunks in packed gyms, nailing deep pull-up threes, and hitting celebrations that made every play feel like a mixtape moment. For a while, Mikey wasn't just a basketball player. He was seen as the future of basketball. He was supposed to be the chosen one, the next phenom to turn internet fame into NBA superstardom. And at one point, Mikey was the most followed high school athlete in the country, with millions of people watching his every move. He wasn't just a prospect, he was a cultural moment, and that's what made the hype so heavy. Because unlike other viral stars, Mikey had the physical tools to back it up. At 6'2" with a strong frame, elite bounce, and a quick first step, he had the look of a future NBA guard. He could shoot, he could slash, he could dunk on anyone, and for a while it looked like he was on a straight line path to the league. But the thing about hype is that eventually it has to meet production, and that's where Mikey's story started to change. because while the mixtapes made him look like a generational talent, the reality was that Mikey Williams struggled to keep growing once the competition caught up. He stayed the same player he'd been at 15, while other guards kept getting sharper, smarter, and more consistent. The truth is, Mikey had everything a young star could ask for: the athleticism, the platform, the exposure, the sponsorships. And yet, when it was time to take the next step, he couldn't quite get there. This is the story of the basketball prodigy who physically had all the tools but couldn't live up to the hype. So let's rewind, back to the very beginning, when Mikey wasn't just a star in the making, he was the kid everyone thought was next. Mikey didn't just appear out of nowhere, he was built for this moment. Before he was dunking on kids and filling up overtime highlight reels, Mikey was just another talented California guard, but one with a natural gift for showmanship. He was fast, explosive, and confident in a way that made you stop and watch. He was first discovered as a teammate of Bronny on the infamous youth AAU squad, the North Coast Blue Chips. Coached by LeBron himself, this youth AAU team featured Bronny, Jazeer Jackson, who was bigger than LeBron at 14, and of course, Mikey Williams. The Blue Chips became the hottest ticket in youth basketball, and while most people came to see Bronny and Big Ja, it was Mikey who looked like the best player on the team. That's where the legend of Mikey Williams began. Even at 12 and 13 years old, Mikey had bounce that made crowds gasp. He was dunking in middle school games, hitting NBA range threes, and playing with a chip on his shoulder that made every highlight clip feel personal. In the era of Instagram and YouTube, he was the perfect storm. Ball is Life, Slam, and Overtime started posting his clips. YouTube mixes of Mikey torching kids twice his size were racking up millions of views. By the time he was in 8th grade, Mikey wasn't just known in AAU circles. He was becoming a household name for hoop fans everywhere. Then came high school, and that's when the explosion really happened. Mikey stayed home in San Diego, suiting up for San Ysidro High School. In his very first varsity season as a freshman, he averaged over 29 points per game, and in just his 4th high school game ever, he scored an absurd 77 points. He rained threes, dunked on fast breaks, and put on one of the most dominant scoring performances in California history. The clip went viral overnight, and from that moment on, Mikey Williams wasn't just a prospect, he was a phenomenon. San Ysidro games started selling out. Fans lined up before tip-off, cameras were everywhere. Overtime, Slam, and Ball is Life were sending full crews to every game. Mikey had become a one-man traveling show, and he leaned into it. He celebrated every big shot, threw down every dunk with flair, and made sure every performance felt like an event. He wasn't just playing basketball, he was performing it. By the end of his freshman year, Mikey had built something no high schooler ever had before, a full-blown brand. And then came the move that made history. At just 17 years old, Mikey Williams became the first American high school basketball player to sign a shoe deal with a global footwear brand.
I'd be on point. I said he was one of the first to sign an NIL or get an NIL. You know what I'm saying? Just go hand in hand. He was the first high school athlete in history to get his own design, his own shoe, like his own personally designed shoe with the brand. You know what I'm saying? Now, I really feel like Mikey deserves to go to the league. I don't care what no one says. And why I say that, bro, is because I've watched him, like I said, since he was 14. I've told this story hella times on my stories. On my channel, if y'all go back years worth of videos, you know what I'm saying? Like go back some years, a couple years or whatever over the years. I did a few videos where I spoke about Mikey. And like I said, I got put on by my team that I was coaching. They was 14, 15-year-olds. We go to Vegas, you know what I'm saying, and one of the teams in the tournament was supposed to be one of Mikey's teams that he played for. Because, you know what I'm saying, there was teams from California, Vegas, and wherever else that paid to come and play, you know what I'm saying? So I just keep hearing, bro, we finna play Mikey Williams' team. Bro, that's Mikey Williams' team, bro. We finna lose. We finna get fucked up, bro. We finna play Mikey Williams. I'm over there getting mad because they wouldn't stop saying this. We played that team. He wasn't on it. We beat the team. But the hype was so crazy behind his name with my players that I had to go look into him. I look into him. I see all of them clips. I see the games. I see the videos. I'm like, damn, he official. You know what? I'm finna watch him up until he get out of high school and just see what he do and see if he make it to the league. Because if he do, for the first time, I can say I actually followed somebody most of their route, you know what I'm saying, up until they reach stardom. You know what I'm saying? And actually, like, supported too. Like, bro, I was rooting for that man the whole time. And I'm still rooting for Mikey, bro. I don't like that people be like, he was hyped, he was this, that, and third, and now he's basically just average and mediocre. Like, I don't think that, bro. Yeah, it might be players that's better than him, bro, and this, that, and the third, but hey, it's always gonna be that.
Inking a multi-year contract with Puma. This wasn't just hype, this was groundbreaking. It put him in the same conversation as NBA stars with signature shoe deals before he ever played a minute of college basketball. He was a pioneer, blazing a trail for the NIL era that was just beginning to take shape. By this point, Mikey had more than 3.5 million Instagram followers, more than many NBA starters. He was bigger than just a recruit. He was a celebrity, a trendsetter, the face of the high school basketball internet era. At his peak, Mikey Williams felt inevitable. It wasn't a question of if he'd make the NBA, it was how big a star he'd be when he got there. But as we've seen before, hype is a double-edged sword, because the bigger the rise, the bigger the crash when things start to go wrong. And soon, cracks would start to appear, both on the court and off. At his peak, Mikey Williams felt untouchable. He had millions of followers, a historic Puma deal, and a reputation as the future face of basketball. But if there's one thing we've learned about hype, it's that it has an expiration date, and soon people started asking questions. After his electric freshman season at San Ysidro, Mikey transferred to Lake Norman Christian in North Carolina. At first, it seemed like the perfect move, a chance to play on a national stage against elite competition.
This may be the last ad you ever see, because with the free ad block extension from Capital One Shopping, you can say
competition. He still put up numbers, still had highlight plays, still looked like one of the most talented guards in the country. But scouts were watching more closely now, and cracks started to appear. Mikey could always score, but how efficient was he? Could he run a half-court offense? Could he defend consistently and elevate teammates when the lights were brightest? Then came another move, this time to Vertical Academy, a program essentially built to showcase Mikey. It was the perfect place for him to control the narrative, but the competition wasn't consistent. Some nights he'd put up 30 or 40 points and look unstoppable. Other nights against nationally ranked teams, he struggled to impose his will. The same flashy style that made him an internet star started to raise eyebrows for talent evaluators. Was Mikey becoming more of a showman than a winning player? Every matchup against other top recruits became a measuring stick. When he faced Bronny James, Dior Johnson, or DJ Wagner, the gyms were packed and the cameras were rolling. And Mikey had moments, no question. He'd throw down a dunk that blew up on Instagram, hit a clutch three, or stare down a defender with the swagger that made him famous. But there were also games where he disappeared for stretches, settled for contested pull-ups, or got caught on defense. For the first time, there was a debate about whether Mikey was just a great high school player or someone who could actually translate to the next level. But even with some lingering doubt, the hype train kept rolling. Mikey committed to Memphis in late 2022, and it felt like a turning point. This was the moment he could silence doubters. Penny Hardaway, a former NBA All-Star guard himself, was the perfect coach to mold Mikey into a polished, college-ready floor general. The announcement made headlines everywhere. The idea of Mikey Williams running the backcourt for Memphis felt like a natural next step, a chance to prove that he wasn't just a social media creation. But then, everything changed. In April 2023, Mikey Williams' story took a turn that no one saw coming. Police arrested him on 5 felony charges after a shooting outside his home in California. The details were shocking. A car full of 6 people, which included 3 minors, were leaving his property after an argument when Mikey fired multiple shots at the vehicle. No one was injured, but bullet holes were found in the car. Almost overnight, Mikey's entire world flipped. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. It was about whether he'd even have a future in the sport at all. Memphis, the school he was set to star for, quickly announced he wouldn't join the team until his legal situation was resolved. His name vanished from highlights. His sponsors went quiet. Puma, the brand that had once signed him to a groundbreaking deal as a high schooler, backed away. The hype machine froze. And as the case unfolded, things looked grim. Prosecutors eventually hit Mikey with 9 felony counts. Everything from assault with a deadly weapon to firing into an occupied vehicle to making criminal threats. Witnesses said they saw him with a weapon threatening passengers in the car. But the evidence wasn't airtight. Nobody could definitively say they saw him pull the trigger. The case dragged on for months, delaying his basketball comeback even further. Finally, late in 2023, Mikey reached a plea deal. He pled guilty to a single felony count of making a criminal threat, and in exchange, 8 other charges were dropped. Under the agreement, he avoided jail time, but he had to complete anger management, safety courses, counseling, and community service. If he followed every condition, the charge could even be reduced to a misdemeanor down the road. Legally, Mikey got a second chance, but the damage was already done. He lost a full year of basketball, a year when other top recruits were turning themselves into lottery picks, all while Mikey was on the sidelines fighting for his freedom instead of refining his game. And that lost year might be the single most important chapter in his story, the moment where the gap between Mikey Williams the brand and Mikey Williams the basketball player truly started to widen. By the time he re-enrolled at Memphis in early 2024, Penny Hardaway made it clear that Mikey wouldn't play that season, not because he wasn't talented, but because he wasn't ready. Eventually, Mikey entered the transfer portal without ever playing a single minute at Memphis. He was searching for a fresh start, but the landscape had changed. He was no longer a guaranteed draw. He was no longer the face of high school basketball. He was a question mark. And that's when the narrative around Mikey truly shifted. He went from the next big thing to a cautionary tale in real time. From the kid who was supposed to be first in line for NBA stardom to the player who was fighting just to prove he belonged on a college roster. This was the moment when the hype stopped being fun. This was when the weight of it all, the followers, the mixtapes, the Puma deal, the expectations, came crashing down. And it was the moment we realized that Mikey Williams, the internet's favorite prodigy, wasn't just facing opponents anymore. He was facing time, pressure, and the consequences of choices that had nothing to do with basketball. He would finally suit up for the University of Central Florida in the 2024-25 season. It felt like a fresh start, but it never really clicked. Mikey played just 18 games, only starting in 5 of them, and averaged just 5.1 points per game in just 14 minutes. There were flashes, a couple of 14-point nights, a few games where he rebounded well for a guard, but the efficiency issues followed him to college. He shot 37% from the field and 28% from 3. And just as he was starting to settle in, injuries took him out again. The rhythm never came. The leap scouts were hoping for never showed up. By the time the season ended, Mikey looked less like a future NBA star and more like a player searching for a home. And that's exactly what he did, transferring to Sacramento State for the 2025-26 season, where he's now trying to reinvent himself. And honestly, that might be the best thing for him. At a smaller program, with a new coach in Mike Bibby and Shaq as the GM, he has a chance to slow down, get consistent minutes, and focus on actually building his game instead of chasing highlight plays. It's the kind of situation where he could quietly put the pieces together, work on his efficiency, learn to defend, and maybe, just maybe, remind everyone why he was so hyped in the first place. But this is also the crossroads, because if Mikey can't make it work here, if he can't turn himself into a consistent, efficient guard in a smaller conference with a coach who believes in him, the NBA dream might officially slip away. This is the part of his story where potential has to finally meet production, where highlight dunks have to give way to winning basketball, where the player everyone once thought he was has to actually show up. Because Mikey wasn't like Julian Newman. He wasn't physically outmatched. If anything, he was physically gifted. He had the tools to succeed, but the refinement never caught up. The polish never came, and when the spotlight shifted, he didn't have the substance to keep himself in the conversation. That's why Mikey's story feels so different, and in a way, so much sadder. Because there was a world where Mikey Williams could have been everything we thought he'd be. The NBA-ready guard with star power, charisma, and a game built for the modern era. But he never became that player. Now he's fighting for one last chance to write a different ending. Not under the bright lights of the Big 12, not with ESPN cameras following him, but in a quieter college gym in Sacramento. If he's ever gonna change the narrative, it has to happen now. So here's the question that everyone keeps asking. Was Mikey Williams ever really as good as we thought, or did we just fall in love with the highlight version of him? The answer, like most things in basketball, is complicated, because Mikey was that good, at least for a time. He was electrifying. He was the first player of the social media generation to turn high school basketball into a full-blown entertainment product. He was selling out gyms, signing autographs, and making sneaker deals before he could vote. For a few years, he was bigger than the game itself. But hype isn't the same as development, and while Mikey was building a brand, his game wasn't building the way it needed to. He stayed the same player for too long, a dangerous thing in basketball where everyone else keeps getting better. He could still dunk on you, still pull up from deep, still hit you with a step back that looks good on Instagram, but the consistency, the decision making, the efficiency, they didn't grow with the spotlight. And then the off-court issues hit, stealing a year from him at the exact moment he needed to mature the most. By the time he got back, the gap between who Mikey was and who we thought he'd be had never been bigger. That's what makes Mikey's story so fascinating, and honestly, a little heartbreaking. Because unlike other viral stars, Mikey had the tools. Physically, he should have been the one to make it, but sometimes talent isn't enough. Sometimes the game asks you to evolve, and if you don't, the game moves on without you. Mikey Williams will always be remembered as a pioneer, the first American high school player to sign a global shoe deal, the kid who made high school basketball feel like a rock concert, the one who proved that social media could create a superstar before the NBA ever could. But whether he'll be remembered as the one who made it or the one who almost did is still up to him. So what do you think? Can Mikey Williams still rewrite his story, or has his chance to live up to the hype already passed him by? Let us know in the comments, and if you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like and comment, and subscribe to the channel for more basketball deep dives like this, because
that was a cool watch, but I got faith in Mikey, bro. I'm just keep it straight like that. You know what I'm saying? I wish the best for bro. I feel like he can make it shake, bro. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what he go through just cause, you know what I'm saying, what it look like on the internet and this, that, and the third, bro. So it be a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? And shit get to people mentally, and they can fuck with you physically, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, but I got faith in bro, man. I feel like he could do it, bro, and I hope he do it. I would love to see that nigga in the league. You know what I'm saying? Most def.
Higher than a bitch, I'm off the oil, they don't get it. Running up my money, I'm getting my money. I'm talking about chicken, her little bitch be talking that shit, but her time told that bitch to listen.